Hi guys, welcome to my channel Vinyl Beauty, or welcome back. I'm Debbie if you don't know me. So I'm really excited for today's video because I'm going to be showing you my festive and Christmas palettes. Now I've done a video like this in the past where I covered my winter palettes as well, but I've decided this year to do it a bit different and just to show you what I consider to be peak Christmas, peak festive palettes. So I've got 15 palettes to show you in my collection here. And I am a collector, so bear that in mind. So some of these things are very old, I keep them forever, but I thought it might be fun just to go a little bit down memory lane. I can show you some older things in my collection that I still adore, to be honest, and that bring me a lot of joy. And maybe you've got these things and maybe you haven't, but I just love watching these kind of videos myself, even if it's palettes that have been discontinued many years ago. It's just fun to see what people have got in their collections. So without further ado, I think we should just get into it. Okay guys, the first one is very old, but it's very special as well. So this is Pure X the Grinch, Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, and the packaging for this is just stand out. I don't know what happened to Pure, but they just seem to have disappeared. But this is the outer box for it, and it's got a mirror, but it opens up. I hope you can see without giving away all my filming secrets, but you've got like a pop-up sort of scene there of the town, Whoville. And then inside you've got a palette that comes out from the front here, which is in the shape of a heart. And it's all about the packaging for this one. The shadows, there's two pressed glitters which are awful, and there's not much depth in the eyeshadows either, but it just brings me so much joy to look at it. You've got one of those colour changing lipsticks in the middle. That's quite fun. That goes a sort of pale pink on me. But why I love this so much is the blush and the highlight. So if you're wanting that kind of, I've been out in the cold and you know it's a little bit frosty, the frost has nipped at your nose kind of look, then that blush is perfect for that. It's a really nice formula as well, and the highlight is just a champagne highlight, but it's really smooth, really pretty. So I have dipped into it almost every Christmas season for those two products in here. But as I say, more so it's just because it's a collector's piece and I just think it's really special. It's a painter store, it's massive, but I'm never ever going to part with it. So the next palettes I've got to show you are from BH Cosmetics, and they were from the time when they were the it brand to buy from. You know, they had an amazing formula at that time, and these are peak Christmas. They really are beautiful. So I've got the Naughty palette. I think there was two palettes. I think there was a Naughty and a Nice in this range, but I only bought the Naughty, which was the big one. It's such festive packaging, it's so beautiful, and that's the shades in it. And it's a big palette. I don't tend to gravitate so much to big palettes, but as soon as I saw it I just knew I had to have it. It's just so Christmassy, and I think I picked this up for about £10 on Beauty Bay as well. So yeah, I got it for a song. It's got some pressed glitters, but the glitter formula isn't too gritty. It's quite nice. It does adhere to your eyes quite well, so not scary to wear. You know, I'm scared of glitter, but it's easy to wear. And there's some unusual pretty tones, like the purples that are in here are a little bit unexpected, and it goes light to dark, and it's got a really nice red in here as well. So yeah, it's a really, really beautiful palette. And I've also got the Miss Claus, the Lit List palette, which was the one they brought out the following year. Now these are both old palettes. We're probably talking 5 years ago for the Naughty and 4 years ago for this one. But this one had a step up in formula, I think, and the pans all just look like baubles. It's just so pretty to look at. Again, it's got a couple of pressed glitters, and the one in the middle, Rudolph, is a chunky, horrible pressed glitter that I won't use. But there are some that are not quite as chunky as that and that I would wear. Again, there's some standouts though in here. There's some beautiful shimmer shades. There's a gorgeous silver, that one called Diamonds in here. It's really like liquid metal on the eyes. It's beautiful. I love these two shades here as well, like I always love a kind of burgundy red shimmer that's more like a satin shimmer. It looks really rich and yeah, just decadent on the eyes. That's the sort of shimmers that I like, and yeah, that one's stand out in here. But you've got all the colours you probably would want, from your neutrals to your green to your red to your silvers. So everything you might want for festive looks to take you through Christmas and New Year's as well. So haven't used this, as I say, for quite some time, because it's, as I say, it's got to be 4 years old, but I'm interested to pull this one out again this year. I normally revisit a palette from the past for my Christmas content, so I think it might be fun to use this palette. Next up from my old palettes collection, I've got the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice palette. Now these came out every year for a few years in this metal tin packaging, but this was the first one I saw and the only one I bought. But it's so pretty. I mean, I love the gingerbread man on the front, and it used to smell of gingerbread, it doesn't anymore, but it's your typical warm tones. But this one is lovely for this shade down here. It's called Hot Toddy, and it's like a red with like a, I don't know, a bronzy kind of flip to it. It's really, really pretty. I mean, it's two-faced formula, you know, it's not like your indie brands of today. It's quite like non-pigmented but easy to work with, that anybody could get on board with and use. There's a rubbish shade in here called Sugar Daddy that's really chunky, but everything else in here performs really well, I think, if you're just wanting a bit more of a subtle look. And I have dipped into this just about every Christmas since I bought it because it is so easy to use. Next up, I thought we could look at Colourpop. So I've got the Colourpop the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer palette, which I'm not going to lie, I bought because it's just the cutest thing ever. I've not got any like nostalgia tied to the movie or the cartoon because I hadn't really seen it or heard of it. I mean, obviously I've heard of Rudolph, but I've not seen the cartoon. But yeah, I just thought it was adorable. And I missed it the first year it came out, and then it was restocked I think 2 years ago, and that's when I picked it up. They're not the most pigmented in the world, but I do love this palette for the fact it hasn't got any pressed glitters or sequin shadows. It's just got traditional shimmers, and you've got your greens, you've got reds, you've got some more sort of wine tones in here and some neutrals. So there's quite a lot of approachable, festive kind of looks that you can create with this really easily. So yeah, I just love it more so though for the packaging and just the cute tie-in. I've also got the Holidays palette, which was the collaboration Colourpop did with the Muppets. Love the packaging on this one. It's in a red box, which I've kept, which is super festive, and then you can kind of see through the box to see the image on the front. I unboxed everything just to make it easier though to show you, but you've got an image inside, and then that's the colours. And it's a bit of a different take on a festive palette, I think. There's a lot of pink going on in here and a bit more vibrancy than you normally see, but that can be nice. I like pink and red together at Christmas. Or some of their pressed glitter, like their pearlescent formula in here, which was their newer glitter formula, and I don't think they quite got it right with this palette because they are quite gritty. It's better now, and the one I'm going to show you in a moment I could highly recommend. But there's some beautiful reflective shades in here. It's just like that green is gorgeous, but it's just a little bit too textured for my liking. And I think, as I say, they've improved on that formula no end over time. But there are nonetheless some beautiful shades. I love that orange shimmer. There's not too many orange shimmers like that about. And this kind of salmony pink matte is gorgeous as well. So yeah, there's some interesting shades in here. But yeah, it still brings me joy because I love the Muppets. I grew up watching the Muppets, so yeah, love it. And then the most recent one I've got is the Frosty the Snowman, and I've just recently uploaded a video using this, and it's fabulous. Spoiler alert, I absolutely love this palette. And you guys know, if you've been here for a while, that anything that's pastel just really isn't normally my jam, but this is just such a winter, sparkly, pretty, I don't know, magical palette. It just evokes all those childhood feelings of playing in the snow and making a snowman, and all of the shimmers that are in here, or they are those pearlescent glitters, but the glitter, you can't feel it at all, and it's so reflective and just glints in the light. It's not often my husband says anything when I do my makeup, and when I came down wearing these, he was like, "What are you wearing on your eyes? That's so pretty." And it was that shade in the middle there that I was wearing, which is the shade Ice and Snow, because it's got some pink reflex in it, but it's predominantly sort of green blue in the base of it. It's just really, really pretty, and there's a lot of different ways you can go with the palette for being such a frosty looking palette. You've got some neutrals, you've got some greys, you've got some pastel transition shades to change things up. I absolutely love it, and I think the quality is fantastic. So most of the palettes I'm showing you I've got looks with. As I say, I've done a full review with this collection because I also picked up the Super Shock highlighters and 2 of the lip kits as well. So if you want to see this one in action, as I say, search on my channel, you will find a video. Next up, I've got the only one that I would consider a Christmas palette from Nomad that I own. I didn't pick up the Polar Express because by the time it comes, it'll be too late for me to make content with it for Christmas. So I probably will pick it up in a sale in the future, but I decided not to get that. But I have got a couple of Nomad things on the way. But This one is the Home for the Holidays, and I love this. I love this kind of packaging that they used to do. They had a few things like this. Their Studio 54 collection had this packaging as well, and I love it. Inside you've just got 8 traditional shimmers. There's nothing shifty about them, but they're just really lovely formula to them. And then you've got a black matte. And these are my favourite shimmers, I think, that Nomad's ever done. I think that will be an unpopular opinion with a lot of people, but they're creamy, silky, but they're not emollient, they're not squishy. They're really impactful on the eyes. They look like, I don't know, baubles, kind of fairy lights, kind of iridescence to them. Like, I don't know, it's just really hard to explain, but they're just such a nice formula. And I love that there's a white shimmer in here, that beautiful gold yellow. You don't really get yellow shimmers like that. It's not gold, it's yellow, I would say. Yeah, there's a good range of tones, but it's just so festive, and yeah, I say it just reminds me of my new Christmas lights that I bought for my lounge, and yeah, just love it. Next up we've got a festive palette, but I think a missed opportunity, and I do love this brand, but it's not quite what I was expecting, but the concept was brilliant. So it's the Lunar Beauty 12 Days of Luna. So when you look at this, you'd think icy purples, whites, blues, a kind of Northern Lights kind of theme to the whole thing. That's not what you got though. So this was a brilliant concept because it was an advent calendar with a palette, and the palette's quality, it's still got his raised moon on there. So I knew I had to have it because I just love his packaging and I love the brand really. And then when I started opening the shades, and I think everybody thought the same, it doesn't reflect the outside, which is such a shame. So that's the inside of the palette, and it's more of an autumnal colour story, a fall colour story. The shimmers though are beautiful. I've laid mine out with all the shimmers across the top and the mattes across the bottom, and it's very pleasing to look at, and you've got a shimmer for each matte. And as I say, the shimmer formula is really, really nice, and the quality's as good as any other palette that Manny's brought out. I just think it would have been nice if the inside matched the outside. I thought he might do another one of these with like a full colour story and then frosty shades, and we could have just swapped them. That would have been good. But yeah, there's nothing wrong at all with the quality, and I'm still really happy I own it. Next up we've got Cosmic Brushes, or Cosmic Beauty as they're now known. I wonder whether to include this one, but I think it is a festive palette. It's called Winter Wonderland. So is it a winter palette? Is it a festive palette? I don't know, but it was their Christmas release for last year. I've not used this one. So I bought it to do a video with at Christmas, and then I never got round to doing it. So I thought I'd save it for this year. So I am going to do some looks with this because it is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm not specifically a blue eyeshadow person, but there's only a bit of blue in here. It's predominantly green, white and purple actually. So yeah, I'm excited to play with it. Some very interesting finishes, duochromes and multichromes in here. By the time I got it, I think I'd got about 3 days to film with it before Christmas, and I was busy and I didn't get it done, and then I thought, well, it's too late now. So I've kept it for this year. I've kept it all pristine so that I can do a video for you guys. I've also got their latest release, their brand new palette and collection that's just come out, which is the 'Tis the Season. And I'm in the process of filming 2 looks and review of the collection. So this is what I'm wearing on my eyes right now, and oh, it's so beautiful. I literally gasped when I opened this. The shade Cranberries that's in here, it's a red to like a goldy green duochrome or multichrome. I'm never sure if they're multichromes or duochromes, but I'm talking about this shade in the corner here. But a row of greens, row of like toasty warm gingerbready neutrals, row of purples, and a row of kind of cranberry pink reds. It's just stunning and so easy to think of looks with, and I think that's why I love Cosmic Brushes so much, because the layout's always user friendly for me. I can always see looks just looking at it. I'm inspired. There's lots of different textures and finishes. They always go light to dark, and yeah, this is just peak Christmas, isn't it? You can't imagine a more Christmassy palette than this really. On to another palette that I've not used, and I'm really sad I haven't used it yet, but I didn't buy it until about 3 months ago. I got it in the sale. So this is the Gourmand Girls Silent Night palette. I don't know whether to make a video with this or not because it's no longer available, but I guess some of you might have it, or you could replicate the look with whatever you have. It is really beautiful though. I think it's an unusual colour story. It's blue and brown of course, but you've got yellows and golds. You've kind of got gold and silver in the same palette, which I love. As I say, it goes light to dark. There's a couple of shades that are similar to one another, and I think that seems to be a common recurring theme with Gourmand Girls, where I think the shades aren't different enough to warrant their place. So you've got two blue mattes that look very, very similar and two kind of taupey mattes that look very similar. But overall, I think it's a very inspiring colour story. You could do very glittery and pretty, like night out kind of looks with this. But you could also do a look that would be equally good for work, you know, because you've got a lot of neutrals in there as well. And as I say, I love that it goes light to dark because that's how you get dimension in a look. Okay, next up I've got one of my favourite Christmas palettes in my collection. I only bought it last year, I think, and it's by Simply Posh and it's the Cozy Cabin. Just looking at the packaging makes you feel festive with this one, like looking through somebody's window into their Christmas lights and their tree. They're bringing this one back as a re-promote, but they're not doing it in this packaging, and it's just going to be like a wooden kind of packaging. Well, it's going to be cardboard, but like a wooden theme, as if it's like a cabin wall or whatever, so that it doesn't have to be Christmassy, which I think is a genius idea. I think it got delayed and so they decided to do that. But I took this one on my cruise last year because I wanted something that had lots of colour but also had lots of twinkle and sparkle, but I could do something neutral with as well. And the colour story is beautiful, and I love how they lay out their palettes. So you've got deep, shimmer, light, so you've got everything I think you need to go in columns and to create a look. I mean, obviously I dip about all over the place, but sometimes when I'm on holiday I just want easy. I just want something in my outer corner that's a bit deeper, blend it out with a lighter matte, and then just a twinkly sparkly shimmer on the lids, and this is perfect for that, and I had such a good time with it. We've got two left, and this one has my heart because it's one of my favourite brands in the entire world and one of my favourite franchises as well, and it's the Melt Christmas Town palette from their Nightmare Before Christmas collaboration from last year, and I love everything about it. I love the lenticular packaging, I love the wonky shape that it has, and I really love all of the shades that are in it as well. It's just so pretty. Again, I think this is peak Christmas with the greens, the reds, the white. Yeah, it's just stunning. And I did a red and green look with this. That's probably one of my favourites I've ever done. That's up on my channel if you want to have a look at my Christmas content for last year. But yeah, I love this. I'm going to see Nightmare Before Christmas at the cinema soon. They're doing a season in Cineworld of all of the Christmas movies from the past, and I've never seen this movie on a big screen, so I'm super excited. I'll have to use this palette to go to that event, I think, because yeah, I love it. So I've only got one left. Can you guys guess what it is? And I think this is the most Christmas palette that ever Christmased. It is my favourite Christmas palette and it will never be toppled, I don't think. And it's by one of my favourite brands as well. It's Give Me Glow's Christmas Morning. Just looking at the packaging makes you feel all the festive vibes, doesn't it? I've got a throw that's this kind of colours in my movie room at the moment. It's just so cosy, so festive. That it's got the typical Give Me Glow formula, which is my favourite shimmer formula in the entire world. It's that reflective, like beautiful high shine shimmer formula that isn't squishy at all or emollient, that doesn't crease, that you can swatch it and it will literally go down the entirety of your arm because it's quality. It's just packed with so much pigment, and it's all of the shades that you think of at Christmas time, isn't it? It's just so beautiful. They're making, or they do make, a smaller version of this now with their smaller pans. I kind of miss the big pans though. I just love big pans. I don't know why, because I'm never going to pan a palette, but just think it kind of stood them apart and you knew it was them by looking at that. Whereas now they've got some with round pans, some with square, some in plastic packaging. But yeah, I absolutely adore this palette. I've used it every single Christmas since I bought it. It was the first palette I bought from Give Me Glow as well, so it's got a special place in my heart. I have ordered their new teddy bear collection, the neutral palette, because I thought that was really interesting, and as I say, I love their formula. I thought their concept was cute, and I don't have too many all neutral palettes, so I was quite excited for that. But yeah, that's my 15 palettes that I would consider to be festive and Christmas. So these aren't winter themed. I have got others that you could use in the winter time, but I thought I'd keep it concise to just these 15. And yeah, you'll have to let me know if you've enjoyed watching and if you've got any of these palettes in common with me. And also, if you want to see any of these in action that either I've not used or I've used before but you want to see brought back on my channel, I've got some more time to film. I can probably film about another 4 or 5 videos before I go off my cruise on the 27th of December. So please let me know if you've seen something here you want to see a look with. I'd love to prioritise what you guys want to see. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed watching it, and I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Bye.